if you are new here, I'm Kaniti, and if you're already watching this channel, welcome back. Today we are going to watch fourth episode of anime Code Geass, so let's get to it. Let's go. Okay, let's start. Okay, a little bit of a recap, and that's also like the last time we saw her. Yeah. Okay, that's actually a nice recap. Oh, at least right now? Okay, that was an interesting correction here. Actually, I did appreciate it, this recap, because it not only like reminded us of the stuff that happened in a very concise manner, but also, you know, mentioned his goals. That is very nice to know, like what your character's goals are, even though of course you could get it yourself from the episodes. I think it's nice to see it concise in one sentence what is the goals of our quest. But I liked how the narrator also mentioned that this is his goals right now. So as I was talking about it previously, that it looks like this character is obviously going to develop and change. And I had a theory that maybe he won't change like in a good way, but more like in the bad way. uh, well, that's just my assumption, obviously. That's just what I gathered from his facial expressions. But in this case, I wonder if his goals change, how they will change, right? And what will they become. And again, the green haired girl, we didn't get like her name, but we see her in the opening. And I'm not sure like if the character only appears in the first episode and dies in the first episode. Would they even be in the opening, like shown so prominently? So I'm still kind of expecting something about that. The name is Zero. Okay. How? What are the benefits? I'm sure Lelouch wouldn't do anything to intentionally put some shadow on Suzaku. Hmm. He says that's why, so maybe he will try to help his friend. Especially since. Okay, that's a nice photo. Especially since that time Suzaku didn't shoot him. So we kinda owe him. See, and they mentioned before that he's perfect for that. So they also kind of want him. Hmm. Oh, might also be one of the reasons. they targeted to Suzaku here. I see. I wonder what his plan is. So that's like a history museum of the war. Interesting. So they have a theory that it could have been him. Did Lelouch send it to her? So I guess she's part of the plan. Is he trying to make his voice lower? Oh, that's a nice answer. I think that's nice. The military, isn't he like a journalist? I mean, not like, broadcaster. Military card sounds scary. I assume they would shoot him. At least planning. The spot. Since we saw the reaction of that now deceased guy who shot Suzaku for not shooting Lelouch, so I assume for killing Clover it would be death sentence. Holy shit. Yeah, you can see the difference. Yeah, but since Suzaku is now captured, their theory about this being Suzaku is obviously not viable. Well, they're all interesting. Well, he did it with the soldiers in the first episode too, though. Oh, so he uses a mask, right? We saw it, I think, like in the opening, right? Ridiculous. He means like not regular people, but the ones who are making the That's correct, actually. That's true. Of course, there would be sympathizers between people, uh, um, but the line of idea is correct. And of course, the government can has many ways to manipulate the opinions of its people, right? Public execution. The mirror. Two. Not. Interesting. Of course, it would be one of them would be Lelouch, but I think the other one he would ask about would be the green-haired girl he doesn't even know the name of. And if the resistance manages to free him, he will have to kind of go into hiding too, right? But I don't think that's how it will go because of the interest the more like science department shown into him. Well, maybe not science department. Well, these guys. mm-hmm. Like maybe they can do something because they want him to pilot this mech. That's sad that she also like has to hear it. Nice gloves. Is he sweating from nervousness or from the helmet? Yeah, maybe. And he wanted someone in the army who is good like with information. And the power of information is of course could not be underestimated. Ooh. Well, I guess for the stealth mission, the better. That's showy. Yeah, see? I said Vyo Suzaku. He had the same thought. And he can't really use his power like this on camera where everyone will see his face. Oh, maybe he's going to confess? Maybe that's part of the plan? Saying it was him. Yes! Oh, that's sweet. They mention it could be a woman, could be a man. That's nice. Could be something else. Man, she's so scared. So he's like, he's not the culprit anyway, so release him. The reporter is so impressed. Orange? Sounds tasty? Oh, that's how he uses it. So there is an opening in the helmet to use his eye. But judging by previous experience, isn't he going to like forget that he said that a few seconds later? Man, that's so cool. He's like, okay, maybe not the best. What is this be the best? Actually, he's like the main character from Persona, right? Like Joker. Persona 5. Or maybe a bit like Arsène Lupin, but yeah, it's a bit different because of like intentions and goals. But visually, like it was a similar. they're so far away from each other. Yeah, as we remember, Suzaku is a very like super super good character in terms of morals. So he might decline. Ah, see, it's a bit of a different approach. So not with like violence and war and terrorism, so to say, but from inside out. That friend is probably Lelouch himself. But maybe still Lelouch saying that he was the murderer will change the direction of in the court, you know? And like yeah, now he might be considered also like kidnapped, and since he's just going back by himself. Oh, she did appear again, see? And that's the end of the episode right away, damn it. But yeah, I was waiting for the green haired girl to appear again. For some reason, she's near our sister, which is a little bit concerning, but she seems to be a good person, I think. So, just one thing I also wanted to mention. It was a bit like recently I have completed a game, a visual novel that's called Cola Malice, and there was a character here who was named Zero, and it was the head of actually a terrorist organization, and but the organization's idea was it was kind of pretty violent, you know, that for many like sins that police is not punishing people for, people have to be punished, and so this organization was killing people, and yeah, some scenes, so to say, yes, were pretty serious, but they were getting like in some cases maybe less serious, so to say, right? And so it was even, I don't know, instigating the people to judge each other. So from this, even something like, I don't know, like something very little could be like someone being jealous of each other, of someone else, could be a reason for them trying to judge this person so they're jealous of. So it was an interesting organization with an interesting idea, so to say, called Adonis, and yeah, the leader was called Zero, and he was kind of coming in contact. Okay, I'm not going to like talk too much. Maybe someone will want to play this game. I don't want to spoil it. It's just interesting to me that it is, I think in his case, Zero meant that he wanted to bring everything to like this zero. He wanted the rebels of Japan. Obviously, there like it's just a normal Japan, and here for there are too many people who have this like darkness in their hearts, and he wanted to get rid of all of them, so there would be no crime at all, nothing like wrong being done at all, which is obviously, I think that's impossible, like nothing at all. They're still like people, they have emotions, they can get angry and stuff like that. Like you can't just achieve it by eliminating everyone who has had some dark intentions. Like, definitely maybe you could achieve it by like developing the society and helping like with mental health and stuff like that, but definitely not just by killing people. And so in his case it would be I think, escalated to no people left in the world at all, and maybe also in this sense being like zero. So the idea of nothingness, or the idea of bringing everything back to zero in terms of the rebirth. And here we have the meaning of zero also in the name that Lelouch chose for himself. So in this case, maybe I need more time with this character to fully understand why he chose to name himself Zero. It might also be like similar meaning, bringing it to like to the initial point of Japan being a free like country, its own country, and in this case being brought to the zero. Or maybe it's something more personal, like zero even higher standing than one. Or well, I'm not really sure, like bringing Britannia to zero, or just a way to conceal his identity as someone insignificant, someone non-important. You don't really have to think like who I am, what is my name, I'm just nothing, I'm just zero. Could also be that. Yeah, I don't think they really described like the motivations for the name in the episode. I hope I didn't miss it. Like there was again a lot of information that I might need to remind myself of while maybe rewatch some of the parts of the episode for some of the details. But it seems like, yes, obviously Lelouch felt like he owes Suzaku, so he tried to free him. Obviously, if Suzaku joined Lelouch, he would have to go into hiding and kind of be with these revolutionaries. But since we already discussed like the personality of Suzaku, it was not surprising with the decision that he made. And the interesting point was also made when he said, I would like to capture you. So it's also a classic dynamic, especially in this manga and anime, where our main character is using a mask to conceal his real identity, and his friend, who is like not concealing his identity, would declare that he is going to catch our main character, not knowing like his real identity. Man, that was a contrived way to say it. But yeah, and so he would try to catch him and maybe fail, and maybe in the end he will learn that maybe not in the end, at some point, that it was actually his friend behind the mask. And this is actually also a storyline I usually quite enjoy. I think it's interesting, and usually also like ongoing through the series. And we have, of course, a little bit of dichotomy of views here, where Lelouch is someone who is thinking, I can change the life of Japan by any means necessary, right? So I will use maybe some violence, like killing Clover. I will use bluff and kind of threatening, like threats, right? With this poison gas and stuff like that. And obviously manipulating someone's will. It's also probably not a good to choose thing to do. So he is a person of more of a grey morale, which also I really enjoy. I like characters with grey morale because I think they are more interesting. But I do enjoy Suzaku a lot also because his morale is not grey. It's like pure white. But he doesn't really sway from it, which makes him more interesting. So he is sticking by his pure white morale really strongly. And here he again shows it by going back to court saying, no, I will face these charges. And you could say like, oh no, so we did all of this for nothing. No. First of all, now the world knows about Zero. I think that is an interesting statement, a strong statement, and also showing that these revolutionaries, these terrorists that they say, they have some kind of leader, strong leader. This is a very strong message. And other than that, Zero said that he is the one who killed Prince Clovis, and I call him Clovis and Clover interchangeably. Okay, doesn't matter, he's dead anyway. So anyway, he admitted that he is the murderer, and everyone was watching. It's like it was a public was there on site, people were watching on their TVs, everyone heard it. So how would it look if they say still execute Suzaku when someone else just confessed that they are the murderer? So I think that could still help in the court, and maybe in some way it could be seen that Suzaku was kidnapped, because they said like, oh, Zero let him go. There was this phrase, so it sounded like they perceived Suzaku to be this hostage that was now let go, so might also play to his advantage. And of course we still need him in the story, not only because of this plot lines and parallel with Lelouch, which I think is just needed for the plot for the story, so it's like from the outside perspective, oh, we need this character still, but from the opinion of the world itself, the world of Code Geass, this I hope you don't mind if I just say science department. I forgot how they're kind of special envoy or something like this. They need Suzaku because he's like the best person, the most compatible with this mech, and so they would really like him to pilot this mech. And I think these lines, they wouldn't be here in the story if they weren't going to come into play. So obviously he is to return to this mech, and he's going to fight on the side of Britannia. And as I mentioned before, yes, this dichotomy, Lelouch using his grey morale, any means necessary, as I said, and on the other side, Suzaku saying, I will try to change it from the inside. And I think this is also a very powerful idea, that no, I'm not going to threaten anyone, I'm not going to use any violence, no, I'm going to try and change like more like the minds of people, the mindset. In this case, I think it is super idealistic, because as someone who lives in Russia, I wouldn't really believe that it is possible to just like go infiltrate the government, so to say, and change the government from the inside. These people are like rotten to their core. They only care about themselves, about money, about their just personal, safety of their like life even, for some of them. And so I don't believe at all that it could be just changed from the inside, but their whole structure could be changed by peaceful methods. Of course, not everywhere these methods are available, but in terms of Ukraine, for example, when they had their Maidan, they had the peaceful revolution, and they managed to do this, so it was a huge demonstration, and as a result their structure has changed and they became a free country. Yeah, maybe there were some problems remaining, but it became completely different from our country, Russia, which we can't really like go and do a peaceful demonstration and change the government the peaceful way, but many people still believe, many people in like resistance, let's say, they still think that revolution, like the bloody revolution in Russia, is still a bad idea, and it's not the way it should be, and it has to be changed. The structure of the country itself, of the government, has to be changed by peaceful methods. Of course, there are some other ideas, some that I support maybe more, but yes, let's not sway too far away from Code Geass. This is just, I'm just giving these examples because I think they're kind of relevant here to what is happening. So I just wanted to discuss a little bit more the ideas that Lelouch and Suzaku have, and yeah, as I said, even though I think Suzaku is a bit too idealistic, I do recognize that I watch an anime and it might be more viable in this world. I didn't see everyone in this Britannian government. I don't know like how they are, who they are as people. I don't know anything about them. So maybe I don't know enough about this like country overall and about how the Japan is being governed here. But I think that in terms of this world of Code Geass, with Suzaku saying it, I do believe him when he says it. I do believe that it is possible, and so I won't say that, oh no, he's being too idealistic, this is not possible, Lelouch is the only one who is doing things right. No, I think this is an interesting discussion here, an interesting, as I said again, dichotomy of views that can be explored, and I think this is really exciting. That's why I was talking for so long. Maybe I could continue for longer, but please share your thoughts in the comments down below if you have any. I would be really interested to hear them, and thank you if you listened to my conclusion until the end. That would be it for today, so thank you for watching and see ya.